Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll show you a British horror film, Hostel, Part 2. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. The movie starts with many photographs as an unknown man scorches it in blazing fire. The next day, an agent talks to a Latin guy, short-named Survivor, about a place in Slovakia while he is in the hospital. According to Survivor, the site is like a factory where wealthy people torture people. Apart from that, he also mentions that his two friends died in that place. Elaborately, these human traffickers take people from a hostel before bringing them to the factory to kill them horribly. When the agent asks how he survives, Survivor tells him he escaped. He also clarifies that the members of this dreadful gang have bloodhound tattoos. Strange enough, the agent mentions a man who dies in a train station in Vienna, having the same tattoo he describes. As it happens, the agent conveys that Survivor is caught in the videotape of the crime, which means that he killed the man. Shortly after, the agent rolls up his sleeve to show his bloodhound tattoo. Hence, he stabs Survivor in a blink of an eye, which causes him to bleed. The grim nightmare wakes the Survivor. In turn, Survivor's wife also gets up to discuss her sleep deprivation due to her husband's constant screams and nightmares. She suggests he seek some help regarding his traumas, but Survivor chooses not to listen to his wife. Instead, he gets mad at her for she tells her sister their location. It appears that Survivor is still anxious that the gang might have followed him. He is just trying to protect his wife from the human traffickers he met before. In fact, his escape was a miracle for as much as the gang was too powerful. That morning, the wife wakes up because of a chainsaw sound from the gardener outside. When she goes downstairs to find her husband, the sight of the headless body greets her. Worse, their cat sits on top of the corpse, licking the flesh at his neck. Simultaneously, a motorcycle rider delivers a box to an old Mr. Bald. Beside him are two bloodhounds, who sniff the box aggressively. Satisfaction is evident on Mr. Bald's face when he opens the box. Therefore, we can infer that the package contains Survivor's head, and Mr. Bald happens to be the mastermind of all the occurrences. In Rome, Italy, 3 American art female students nicknamed Brunette, Blonde, and Awkward meet a beautiful model, whom they sketched a few hours ago in their class. The model invites them for a drink which they refuse, because they need to catch the train to Prague. After that, Brunette's dad calls, and she ensures that she is safe. Once on the train, Blonde feels uncomfortable with Awkward, who writes in her travel journal for emotional callbacks. Notably, Blonde does not want her to come to Prague, but Brunette insists. Concurrently, Brunette and Blonde go out to grab a drink, but Awkward contends to stay. Eventually, a stranger creepily watches Awkward through a window. While Blonde rants about Awkward, Brunette catches the sight of the model they met at the art class a while ago. Owing to their interaction, Brunette greets the model as Blonde flirts with an Italian man on the corner. Enticed by Blonde's presence, the Italian approaches them. At this point, Blonde asks him for party favors, so he brings them to his cubicle, where his strange friends drink alcohol. In that case, the girls are uneasy because of the topic about drugs. They suggest leaving, but the Italian and his drunkard friends harass them. Luckily, they escape the place in one piece. Back to the cubicle, Awkward is on the floor with her things scattered all around. She says that a stranger stole her iPod. In turn, Blonde leaves to call a police officer, but instead, she notices the Italian and the other drunkards looking for them. Fortunately, the model shows up with the iPod. The girls invite the model to stay in their cubicle to express their gratitude. Later on, the model alludes them to Slovakia, to experience the best natural hot springs in the world. Thirsty for vacation, the girls decide to ditch Prague and go to Slovakia instead. As soon as they land in Slovakia, Blonde, Brunette, Awkward, and the model check into a hostel, where a receptionist asks for their passports. The receptionist also gives them brochures for the harvest fair that is about to happen that night. Not long after, the receptionist goes to a secret basement to sneakily upload the girls' photos to an auction website. In this anomalous website, wealthy people with weird kinks and psychopathic tendencies pay ample money to buy who they want to torture. A tycoon bids on Blonde. After the bids, he calls his bully colleague to bid for Brunette. At the moment, the bully colleague seems to have an issue dealing with his wife. He seems under her as she leaves the table for him to clean. Meanwhile, the four go for a walk around the small town of Slovakia. A group of kids blocks their way to ask for $1. Because of this, Awkward offers to give them mint candies, but one of the kids spit on her face before they all run away, laughing. Concurrently, the tycoon and his companions make it to Slovakia, where they receive 2 pagers. Later that night, there are tons of lamps, ornaments, and vast figures of animal costumes holding weapons at the harvest fair. Subsequently, when Brunette buys a costly sword from the fair, Awkward asks Blonde why she can afford luxurious things. Thereby, Blonde explains that Brunette inherited her mother's fortune when she died years ago. While this is happening, the tycoon and the bully collie decide to get a bloodhound tattoo as part of the contract. However, the bully collie is against the idea because he fears his wife would know. After a few persuasions, the bully colleague finally agrees. Later on, they both attend the harvest fair as well. In light of the festivities, Blonde dances with a good-looking man nicknamed Handsome, whom she met at the hostel, while Mr. Beard invites Awkward to a dance. While her friends are having fun, Brunette sits on the corner to rest. Minutes later, a young guy with big front teeth approaches her for a dance. The young guy is eager to take her to a dance, but she refuses because she is tired. The guy looks at her with dismay, then says that he could have helped her. We can say that the young guy knows something about the gang, and he wants to help but fails, because she does not trust him. Suddenly, the receptionist appears to ask if the young guy bothered Brunette. After that, he gives her a drink which she discards. Unaware of someone behind, Brunette accidentally spills the drink on the bully colleague. Therefore, Brunette offers him a drink to compensate. As she walks to get a drink, Awkward suddenly says she will go on a boat ride with Mr. Beard. Considering how dangerous the person might be, Brunette warns Awkward, but she does not seem to listen. She wants to enjoy the night with someone who can accept her the way she is. Brunette converses with the bully colleague upon giving him the drink. Strangely, he mentions Brunette's name even if she does not introduce herself yet. The bully colleague immediately reasons out that he heard her name from her friends. Meanwhile, Awkward is determined to go on a boat ride with Mr. Beard. Brunette tries to stop her, but she insists on leaving. Once they reach a secluded area, Awkward's fantasies become nightmares when two men kidnap her. Honestly, Mr. Beard is indeed dangerous. In the meantime, Brunette assists drunk Blonde to their room, enabling her to spend more time with Handsome. Before she enters the room, Brunette notices two suspicious men gathering clothes from a room nearby. The next day comes. As the tycoon and the bully colleague explore Slovakian brothels, the four girls finally go to the hot spring spa to satisfy their need for a vacation. While they are enjoying the hot water of the spring, Awkward suffers in a factory. She wakes up hung upside down and stark naked above a bathtub surrounded by candles. Shortly after, a naked long-haired woman arrives. The woman lies down the bathtub and begins to torture Awkward. The woman bathes in Awkward's blood, using a saw to cut her skin and flesh. At last, the woman ends Awkward's life with a neck slash. Then she showers in her blood with utmost desire. Simultaneously, Blonde and Handsome finally find the right time to fulfill their erotic fantasies in one of the spa's rooms, whereas Brunette takes a nap. Not long after, Brunette wakes up with no one but herself. A few minutes pass when she sees men in black clothes following her. With this in mind, Brunette runs away from the place. As she escapes to the woods, she recognizes the young guy with big front teeth in his truck. She is shocked to see wounds on his face, and when she asks for help, he declines. Following this, Brunette continues her escape, but she stumbles on the Slovakian kids' traps. Once the kids see her, they beat her with planks of wood. Fortunately, the model and the mastermind appear out of nowhere to help her. Before they leave, the mastermind shoots one of the kids with his gun. Later, at a remote mansion, Brunette remains careful about her suspicions of the model and the mastermind. Meanwhile, Blonde tries to escape from the factory by stabbing the makeup artist, but the operators toy with her, locking her up. Soon after, when the model leaves Brunette in an empty room to sleep, she peeks at the window. There, she notices the same men in black clothes. Because of that, she already knows they have something to do with her friend's disappearance. When she tries to hide in the closet, a collection of human heads greets her, one of which was Survivor's head. The time has come for the tycoon and the bully colleague to fulfill their agenda. They both go to the factory to meet the girls they bid. Subsequently, the bully colleague joins Brunette in a room with torturing materials. He looks at them one by one, but his mind remains hazy. When he removes Brunette's cover, she immediately recognizes him. Fortunately, they have an agreement to escape together. In another room, the tycoon starts to scare Blonde with a power saw. Her screams give him satisfaction. However, when he unintentionally cuts her face with the saw, the tycoon backs out. A louder and longer shriek of pain escapes from Blonde's mouth as the blood starts pouring out of her face. As it turns out, to kill is not his goal, but to only see the sufferings and distress of a person. For the time being, the bully colleague unties Brunette from the chair, but when she thanks him and says that he is a good person, the bully colleague loses his sanity. He begins to tie her up again, and when she asks about his family, the bully colleague shows her a picture of his wife. In that event, we can say that he can't hurt his wife, but he can pretend she is his wife, so he can hurt her however he wants. Besides, Burnett resembles his wife, making it more interesting for him. Horrified, the tycoon proceeds to leave, but since he chooses to breach the contract that he must kill Blonde, the gang feed him off to their hungry dogs. Since the tycoon is dead, but Blonde remains alive, the gang decides to offer her to other clients. The first offer is to an old client who refuses. Later on, the old client enters his room, where Handsome and Blonde Legs resides. The old client rips Handsome's destroyed legs to eat some of his meat like a merciless cannibal. By the end, the gang offers Blonde to the bully colleague, and he accepts the offer after seeing the tycoon dead. When the bully colleague returns, Burnett attempts to seduce him, but she turns to fight him, then ties him to the chair with all her might. She also destroys the camera in the room, so the operators won't see her escape. However, the mastermind and his men notice something is off. When they reach the room, Burnett suggests buying her way out, since there is nothing she can't afford. Although the bully colleague offers a higher amount, the mastermind insists that no payment is needed since the tycoon already paid for it. Later, Burnett kills the bully colleague by cutting off his genitals and letting him bleed to death to get the contract. Apart from that, she also receives a bloodhound tattoo as part of the deal. The movie ends with Burnett getting revenge on the model, who leads her friends to death. That night, she commands the Slovakian kids to lure the model into the woods, where she beheads her without a trace of mercy. The children start playing football with the model's detached head shortly after. This is Daniel's CC Moody channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.